Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Through Black and White Eyes. My tears are tasting good today. What? What a result. In a good way and also in a bad way as well. And we're going to go through this, why I believe it's actually a very good point, but also why it's also a very disappointing point as well from a certain point of view. It's going to be a long one. I appreciate a lot of people are going to be angry because the performance wasn't exactly superb, was it, or even excellent, or even good? But everyone's entitled to their opinion. Everyone can have it in the chat, and we will discuss everyone's point of view as best as we can. Yeah, let's bring Gary in. Good evening.
Hello, how are you?
Tired.
Yeah. I am a bit after that, to be honest. But no,
it didn't fill me with joy and excitement. It didn't get me out of my seat. You know when you're doing a 12-hour shift and you're halfway through the day and you get to watch a bit of football and you just want something to give you that push to get you through the rest of your shift. It just never happened, did it?
No. I mean, do you know what it is? I think this is going to be one of these talks where I think people are going to have different opinions and
massively.
Do you know what it is? People are probably going to disagree with some of the stuff I see today, but people will agree. And but we'll go on about that.
There's a lot of topics to discuss after that performance. John, late again. It's becoming a habit.
Always.
You're in the army.
They're always late.
50 push-ups.
I'll do them tomorrow. I was just on the phone.
No excuses.
Phone never stops. How was everyone?
Good. You?
I'm all right, considering.
I'm all right. 2 seconds.
We'll get through the usual stuff. Please like and subscribe. It's free. We're 2 away from hitting the 7,100 mark. So it'd be nice to get that extra 2 in and then boom, fly to 10,000 or something like that would be great. Remember, when you're liking this channel, when you're watching, when you're subscribing, you're not subscribing to us as a benefit. You're subscribing to charities. That's the way I look at it. We do our best. Over $6,000 we've raised for charity so far on this channel. And that's where membership money goes to, running the channel and also helping people out. Please adhere to standard community guidelines, keep comments respectful, and enjoy the show. So Gary's in the house as always. Watching the footy. Who's playing now? I know Real Madrid won 1-0, didn't they? Lee's in the house as well. Very lucky today, getting a point. Thank God for that double Gary V magic. I called handball straight away, but we'll come into it later on. Who's the little blonde ex-footballer woman on Sky? I don't know. I can't remember her name. Looks like a plasticine face, doesn't she? I think she talks a bit more sense than what that Sue Barker does, though. Is it Sue Barker?
I'm not going to lie. I turned Sky
Sue
off.
Barker's tennis, isn't she?
I turned Sky off because it was the Liverpool show. So I just turned it off for kickoff.
Yes. There's our first little talking point before we get into the action. I was sitting there waiting for the game to start, and all I saw was interview with Jamie Carragher and
Arnie Slot
and all this sort of shite. What about Newcastle Bournemouth game? Bournemouth deserve their respect. It's their first home game of the season. They've just sold their top goal scorer last season. They've just bought their record signing striker. Surely they should be talking about stuff like that. But no, let's talk about fucking Liverpool. Very, very frustrating.
I mean, I know it's a different topic and all that, but I watched the Liverpool game and you've got Jamie Carragher commentating. So I turned that off because I couldn't do it anymore. Yeah. And on the other channel, I had McManaman commentating. And I can't, why don't they just call the Premier League Liverpool? Why don't they just do that? Because
Man United and everybody else.
You know what it is? Man United get, but they get a lot of shit, Man United, of the media especially. Liverpool are just the darlings of the media. They're the darlings of Sky Sports, everything. And it's honestly, I thought, what's the point? Liverpool show. I thought I was on LUFC TV at one point, or whatever they call it, LFC TV. I did, honestly. I thought I was on the wrong channel. Really wasted time.
Hey, Rogers made it to a live. No live transfer news tonight. We've got no extra information. It's Newcastle like to do their business on a Friday and a Monday, but it's a bank holiday Monday, so God knows what's going to happen. But yeah, so we are here to talk about this as best as we can. We're also going to have a quick look towards Wednesday night as well, because I am on night shift the next 2 nights, so I won't be able to do a show for it. Eddie Howe's bogey continues, John. He can't beat his old team. Only Bournemouth and Luton are the only 2 teams he's failed to beat in the Premier League.
Well, I don't know. Probably doesn't want to beat him, does he? I don't know. It's just one of those grounds, isn't it? It's just one of those teams that we go against, and we just can't seem to get anything from. I think we'll break out.
What it reminds me of? It reminds me of Southampton.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that.
Southampton away at the Dell. Could never win a game of football at that ground, and Bournemouth seems to be that new Southampton for us.
Yeah, I just don't think we've got firing on all cylinders just yet. Wait until halfway through the season, and then
which is frustrating though, because 75% of the squad, which I mentioned on last night's show and also on Twitter, weren't international footballers at the Euros.
Yeah.
So they've had the chance to, I know Gordon and a few other players, not many. Kraft. I know the Brazilians were away, but they come back in and fit in like a sword. But they've had time to work on things. They've had time to get their fitness ready. So I don't agree with anyone saying it's the start of the season. It's just a slow start. I expected a fast start. We all did. We all said this when we were doing the first game. We expect us to go fast and hard straight away, and we haven't. And I don't know what the issue is, whether it's selection, whether it's the rumblings going on behind the scenes. It's frustrating, isn't it? Some of the stuff I've seen on social media about how in the team after the game was ridiculous. I've come off Twitter tonight. I'm sick of seeing the stuff on there, to be fair. But it was looking all rosy in the first 15 minutes, though, Gary, because, I mean, we had all the ball. Isak got into some good positions. So did Longstaff. He got edged off the ball far too easily sometimes, though. That man needs to learn how to be a bit more like Joe Linton and be a bit harder on the ball and stop falling over. It's doing my head in. But, yeah, the first 15 minutes, it wasn't that bad, was it? I thought we were comfortable. I thought we were passing the ball around well. Didn't exactly create a clear-cut chance, but that Isak one wasn't a bad chance if he was maybe not off his balance like he was. Another one we hit straight at the keeper. That was a good chance for me.
I should tell you what I did see. I'm sorry for jumping in there. Just if I don't say, I'll forget all about it in about 5-10 minutes anyway. It was when I think we were on the counter attack. Longstaff's got the ball. He's running with the ball, and Isak's. You can see him screaming at him, saying, "Play this fucking ball in," and he doesn't. And you could see Isak. He was going mental with him, saying, "You should have played that first time." And I think a little bit of frustrations are coming into evolve because Longstaff's, he's not crap, but he's not at that level where he's thinking 3-4 steps ahead, like the Isaks, the Brunos, and if he played that ball through, let's say that was a Tonali running with that ball there, who's got that elite level thinking, that ball would have been played through. Isak would have been on. Probably the whole game could have went totally different. And
I've said this for a long time. When it came to, I remember Cisse making loads of runs back in the day, but then he had nobody who was intelligent enough to find his runs.
Yeah.
When Miggy first came to Newcastle, he made loads of runs, and there was nobody intelligent enough in the midfield to find them. And when Sean Longstaff's running down on goal like that, you are right. He doesn't have the intelligence of a Bruno, the skill of a Bruno to be able to slide a ball through. And he ended up playing the safe ball, which was out to Murphy on the right, wasn't it?
Yeah. But did you see Isak go mental with him? Like he
didn't go mental. He put his arm around him and said, "Look, you need to be slotting me through here. I've asked for it. I want it." You know what I mean? And I think But is this not a confidence thing with Longstaff as well? He gets so much stick off the fans, and if he tries to slide that ball through when everyone sees an easier ball out to Murphy on the wing for them to whip it in, if that ball doesn't come off, they're all on top of Longstaff straight away, saying you should have played the easier ball.
Well, that's a mental
sliding
problem
doors
for
moment,
me.
isn't it?
That's a mental problem for me. You need to be stronger. I've seen players. I'll use Gary Speed for an example. Gary Speed used to get a lot of stick, and that man stood up and went, "Nah, I'm going to show you," and he did. You know what it is today. You said something a few times, Baz, recently there about like teams need players to settle in, transfers. You're getting a lot of players you need. Why do Newcastle look like they are a team that have just bought 7 players? And they threw them into a team. What Newcastle shouldn't be struggling with this, because they've only signed 1 player who's technically getting in the side right now. The rest are just on the bench. So why do they not look like a team? As for Sean Longstaff, what he did when he ran in on goal, I'm not going to lie, I nearly threw something off the screen, because it was like, Jesus, will you just pass the ball? And it was when he got it and he ran forward, there was 3 runs, right? And you're right, he went for the safe bastard option, because he hasn't got the intelligence to do what Bruno does, or to do what Joe Linton does, or to do what Tonali can do, or to do what Joe Willock can do. And I'm telling you now, he's one of them. He gives us a migraine at times. He's one of the most frustrating players I have ever seen in my life. You're right, John, he's not crap, right? He's not a crap player. People are going to say he's the worst player they've ever seen. He's not, right?
No, he's even
but
close.
When it comes to football intelligence, he's seriously lacking it, because it's just not there. And there was a few times as well, quick movements in the middle from Tino and Bruno. They give it to him and he just slows down, and then he pushes it back. And I'm going, will you go forward? And it's like, I don't know, but he's not the only one. I mean, that break. I mean, I know it's a funny game today. I mean, because we're talking about the first 15 minutes, and I'm going off topic a bit here. But Baz, you're right. I was encouraged by the first 15. I thought we did all right. I thought Bruno looked good. I thought he was controlling the midfield. And Risak was making some good runs. He was frightening them a bit, and it wasn't brilliant. I mean, we didn't shoot every 5 seconds at the goal or anything like that, but I thought, this is a much better start than Southampton. Much better.
Southampton, before this ended off, we looked like we were down to 10 men anyway.
Yeah, exactly. And I thought, this is a better start. I'm happy. And then all of a sudden, something just went. But I kind of complained. First 15 minutes were fine. Didn't have a problem with it.
I think what changed was Bournemouth got very dirty.
It was Semedo.
Very clever dirty though. Like there were little niggly fouls, slowing the game down, and then their high press really got on top of us. And I'm not being, I said, Pope's back in goal, get in. But how bad was he today with his feet? And that changed the game a lot, because they pressed him every single time, knowing there was a mistake in him. And how many mistakes did he make passing the ball out from the back today?
Do you know what it is? He came off his line.
He
came off his line well.
Very well, though. That's the thing. He
good shot stopper, but he can't kick a king ball.
For a
Premier League footballer.
So the defense didn't exactly help him out. Like I looked at that defense, and I was like, what's the word? I was like fearful a little bit every time they got the ball, because they'd get the ball, they'd dilly-dally about with it, pass it so close to where Pope was, so the ball ended up getting passed back to Pope, and he had like 2-3 seconds to make his decision, and he just hoofed it.
There was times where he had more than that, and he still put it out for throw-ins and things like that. You can't defend Pope today. The defence was terrible as well, playing out from the back. Don't get me wrong.
Burn was shocking at times today.
Was terrible as well. Yeah, Burn was dallying and prancing with his feet at
prancing
times.
Around at times.
Stuck underneath him.
It was honestly, it was so. And You're right. It's like I don't. You look. I love Nick Pope, right? I think he's one of the best keepers in the league. Well, how can a professional footballer not kick a ball? I didn't care whether you're a goalkeeper. How can you not kick a football? Mike
He's
Kyle
only
can kick
passing
a
it
ball
5,
better
10
than
yards
that.
as well,
He's
isn't he?
10
This
years
is the
old,
thing that's
11
really
years old.
frustrating.
Yeah,
he's only
it's
passing
like,
it 5, 10 yards.
yeah, yes, it's not. Like, you know, I made a joke, Baz, with Ian. I said, Ian, you can kick a ball better than him. You know, I'm the charity game. And the charity game, Ian can kick a football better than Nick Pope. I'm telling you now, he can. And it's honestly, I just don't understand it. Surely the practice kicking in training, surely they get him kicking a ball, but he just can't do it. And but look, I feel like I'm having to go at Nick Pope, and he certainly wasn't the problem today. I mean, he was with his kicking,
doing
but
what he does
like,
best.
yeah, and saving, brilliant. Yeah, but catching didn't out wrong. But honestly, it's so frustrating to watch at times. But like I said, he wasn't the reason the result went the way it did today.
It was, but I thought that was the turning point in that first half, is when they realised Byrne, Kraft and Pope was struggling to play the playing out from the back system. Their high press got right on top of us, and they started turning the ball over a lot faster. There was one situation which I remember quite well in the first half, which almost led to a goal, and then the goal came quite soon after it, was when Murphy got played the ball about 10 yards outside the box. He was his back to goal, and I was like, don't lose it there. And he controlled it and then lost it because he wasn't strong enough and he wasn't aware of what was around him. And then that ball got played straight into the box, and Paul pulled off a good save. It was hit straight at him. I don't know if you can remember it from down the left-hand side.
Yeah, I don't see a confidence at the minute between the defence and the goalkeeper. I know that's strange, right? But the amount of times Paul laid a ball off to Dan Burn today, and Dan Burn faffed around before he got rid of it, was unreal. It happened about 4 times. Last week, the same thing happened against Southampton. They played the ball out and they were faffing on in the first 20 minutes. They did it again today at times, and I don't know why it's taken them so long. What do you think? Nobody's going to tackle you? Is that what you think? Nobody's going to pressure you on the ball? Do you know what it is? It's just a matter of time before teams start realising, whoa, hold on, Newcastle love to press. We're going to press them because we're struggling with the press at the minute. When teams press one, and it's maybe it's certain players not playing in or something like that. I don't know, but maybe Botman missing because he can pick a ball
was
out
a
of
massive
nowhere.
miss today because he's the one who plays out from the back the most. Forget about Botman because he's been missing a while, but Shaw is the one who normally builds up from the back at the moment. So he's the huge miss.
You know why they want Mark Gahey and why they're willing to pay £70 million for him. You know that now because that's the exact reason. He doesn't panic on the ball, and it's like, but. Anyway,
to give you an example why I'm talking about the first half and about how suddenly it changed, we had no big chances in that first half, but there was a big chance for me. I'll come to it in a minute. They had less passes than us, but we conceded 8 free kicks.
Yeah,
they had 3 free kicks. So sorry, they conceded 8 free kicks. We got 8 free kicks in the first half. And that is a big telling stat to me that Bournemouth knew what they were doing. They thought, let's get hard on these. Let's get right into it and stop them from playing football. Giving away 8 free kicks slows the game down, doesn't it? It stops you from getting into a rhythm.
Yeah.
They had 5 shots, 1 big chance, and they obviously scored from it. But the big chance for us, I don't know if you can remember it or not, was when Isak got the ball on the right-hand side and he megged the defender.
Yeah, I remember.
He played that lovely ball right in the corridor.
Nobody there. Gordon was there, but it was like, I remember.
Last year's Gordon would have made the right run. And he would have went to the back post, knowing where Isak can, because Isak had already put the ball there in the dangerous area. Where Gordon ran, he ran into the middle, in between 2 defenders, looking for the ball in the air. But Isak doesn't put the ball in the air. He doesn't cross like that. He's always going to go low in that corridor. And Gordon's intelligence last year would see him at the back post and knock that into an empty net.
That's something else that frustrated me, and I'm jumping in here, but Isak once again was on the right wing trying to create stuff. Where the was Jacob Murphy? Like,
This is
absolutely
another thing in the first
nowhere
half.
to be seen again.
But,
And
but this confused me, the tactics, though. Did you not notice that Gordon was very central a lot as well, though? He wasn't on the left-hand side.
yeah, it was like, I don't know. It's just, that first half, I've never seen our wingers so useless in my life for a long time. I thought what wingers did sod all the whole game. Well, the first half, sorry, not the second half, but nothing was happening. Isak was coming out to the right to try and get something happening on the wing because Jacob Murphy was nowhere to be seen. And Gordon wasn't doing much better on the left in the first half. Honestly, it was the tactics just weren't there in the first. The intensity in that team is just gone, especially first half. I've always knew Newcastle were a high, hard-working, intense team. It's just not there. It's just non-existent. And it's bizarre to watch them because it's not something you expect from this Newcastle team. Do you know what it is? I feel like they need somebody just to put a rocket up their arse just to get them going. And it's bizarre because I did not I thought Newcastle would come out firing this season. I really did. And it hasn't happened. Yeah, they had a good start, but it wasn't like a boom out there. Like
No, it wasn't. But this is where the Kevin Keegan saying comes into it, isn't it? If you got their crowd against you the first 15 minutes, just fucking hit someone.
Yeah.
With a tackle. Get the crowd halfway line, nail someone. If you don't get the ball, you get a yellow card. You've quieted their crowd down, and then you hear the away fans. And that's what we were missing, I think.
Jordan Longstaff puts a bulletin tackle in last week against Diaz, but he never did it once, did he? Not once.
No,
not once did he slide into
ground.
Honestly, it's John, I'll let you have an opinion because honestly, it's just that first half was shit today. I'm not gonna absolutely shite. And even our best players were dreadful. Even our best players were dreadful. Joe Linton had his worst game I've seen in a long time in the first half. It was just honestly, it was. I'll let John let John have an opinion on it, but it was just crap for me that first half.
Yeah.
There's a couple of things very quickly in the chat though. There was one that I really wanted to go back to if I can find it. It was something about Lewis Hall got dropped.
Yeah.
Kelly. Everybody said drop Lewis Hall after the 30 minutes against Southampton, apart from me.
Yeah, apart from me. You know me. Lewis Hall starts every game for me, without a doubt. Sorry, go on.
And he should start that game. And I just want to put that to bed now that Lewis Hall shouldn't have been dropped just because of 30 minutes against Southampton, where most of the team was not great in the first half, but yet they picked on him, which was really annoying. But now you can see the qualities that he brings, can't you? Because let's face it, Kelly wasn't a great left back, was he?
No, people seem to forget that Lewis Hall cleared one off the line against Southampton that got with a 3 points. A lot of people forget that one. And Lewis Hall is going to lose possession. He's a young lad. He's going to make mistakes. But we have to stick with him. He's the best left back of that country and that club. And I'm telling you now, Lloyd Kelly is not a left back. I've seen him once now. And that man is not a left back. That's my personal opinion. He never went over the halfway line.
I see. This is the difference. He's not an attacking left back. He's a very defensive left back, isn't he? That's the problem.
I think he's a centre back. Bournemouth fans, I always thought like Kelly was a left back. Then when I spoke to Bournemouth fans when we signed him, and I watched the YouTube podcast, they said he's a centre back. That's his best position. When I watched him in the friendlies, I saw that and I understood. Yep, you were a good centre back. Plays a long ball out, good. He's not a left back. I'm telling you now, he is not a left back. He got caught a few times today, numerous times. Was it Semedo or some? I can't remember. He got past him a couple of times. He was fantastic today. Anyway, I'm running.
Well, the way I think with Kelly in this game, he shouldn't have started. He should have been Hall playing off from the back, because if I was a manager, right, especially a Bournemouth manager and Bournemouth players, and I know Lloyd Kelly, I know his weaknesses, I know his strengths, and I'll be like, just let's channel in on him. Do you know what I mean? He's playing. 100%. He's up playing in his favourite position. He's playing in the left back position. Yeah, he's okay there, but we know how to get him. Just head down that way. And if you look at it, that's totally what they did. They just went for him. The occasion, I think it got to him a little bit because he was back at his old club, first start for Newcastle, back at his old club. He should have just played Hall from the start. And then if we were struggling on maybe at the 60-minute mark, maybe replace him for Kraft. And that's what should have probably happened, in my opinion. I don't think he should be playing there. But then Eddie Howe's got this. He's got this dream, hasn't he, of having a hybrid left back that's centre back and a left back for some unknown reason. And yeah, it worked when he first got here. We realised it doesn't actually work that well unless you've got somebody who can, cover that ground. I don't think Lloyd Kelly's one for speed. I'm not really sold on Lloyd Kelly as it is. But he is a good squad player, but he should not have started today's game. It should be Hall. Hall should be playing 95%.
I'm going to give you a strange stat there because you said everything went down our left-hand side. It didn't.
Well, it looked that way.
Looked that way, but actually they went down our right-hand side more. Looking at the stats, just not by much, but the arrows a little. I can't get the green screen on. But they went through the middle less. They went down the left-hand side a little bit more than the right-hand side, which is very interesting because obviously when we saw Semenyo run at us, we just thought, Jesus Christ, because he was quick. I mean, he had a great game. There's no doubt in it.
He was the best player on the pitch today. You know what I've found strange about
Tavernier got the goal, so stats-wise, Bruno and Anthony Gordon actually got 8.
Gordon wasn't in 8. I don't know who rated that. That's nuts, that. Gordon 8.
So
I'm sorry, what game were they watching?
Key passes, he had 4. He won 5 out of 8 ground duels. He was fouled 4 times, put 1 tackle in, lost possession 11 times, 1 shot on target, 1 shot off target. But because he gets the goal, obviously that shoots your rating.
Yeah, you shoot your rating up because he got a goal. Well, you know what I found strange today was when he started Lloyd Kelly. That's not an Eddie Howe thing to do. He normally eases players in and doesn't push them straight away. Kelly started his first game today and he did it away to Bournemouth. That's what Eddie Howe doesn't do that. It took him 9 games to put Bruno in. It took him 7 to put Botman in. I know Lloyd Kelly's got APL experience. I get that. I fully get that. But he said Lloyd Kelly hasn't had much fitness-wise. He only done 3 weeks. But he's starting him at Bournemouth. I just find it... I get the impression that Eddie's trying to prove a point here to the owners or the staff above him that I need something here. And he's... when I found out he dropped him, put Kelly in, I was shocked.
I was shocked because we discussed
shocked
it last night on the show with John and Dan, and I said the only 2 changes we're possibly looking at are Gordon and Barnes. Even though I was harsh on Gordon because it was only 30 minutes, but Barnes looked fitter and ready. And then the other position was Phil and Shaw's position. I didn't ever think we would be changed. I mean, we did sort of touch on it very slightly about potentially Kelly playing that left back, and it happened. But we were all adamant it would just be Craffin for Shaw and potentially Barnes for Gordon, and that would be the only 2 changes. So Kelly is quicker than Hall, Semenyo is rapid. Yeah, but look at how the whole idea of playing Hall over Kelly is to get Semenyo running the other way, not running at you, worrying about us going down the wing. This is the whole idea. But let's talk about their goal because it was very frustrating goal. I was tearing my hair out for most of the first half about the way the midfield were giving the ball away, dallying on it too much. And John, the ball goes into Joelinton's feet. He turns one way, turns another way, doesn't see a runner. And instead of just playing a simple ball back or to the side, which I have pointed out God knows how many times, he had 3 options to play a simple pass and not lose possession in a dangerous area. And I was like, don't lose possession there. Loses possession because he turns another time to try and see something forward. We lose the ball. We go down the right. We cut it back and Tavernier knocks it into an open net. Very frustrating because I understand wanting to be attack-minded and going forward, but there's also a right time and a right place to look for those passes. And at that point, the way they were on top of us, keeping the ball was more important than looking forward.
Yeah, I think with I noticed a few times with Joe Linton, the ball was coming into his feet, and then he was just sort of like he was just getting like tangled up with himself. You know, he just like you said, he wasn't going for that easy pass. He was like getting a bit
I don't
rabbit.
mind going forward and losing the ball, but what I don't want to see is him turning 3 times on the ball, still looking for a forward pass, then getting ganged up on when he's got an easier pass backwards, where you just start again. You start the transition again. Do you know what I mean? It cost us the goal, basically.
But a lot of it was happening today, especially like the lead up to the goal, and with Jolton diddly-dallying about with the ball at his feet. Like he just didn't have. He felt like he didn't have no control. I feel like Joe Linton played today where he didn't have that control. You know, the Joe Linton that we see where he can just bust the midfield, bully people off the ball. He has his first touch is immaculate. He can get that ball away wherever it needs to be. Basically he's looking for Bruno, isn't he? So Bruno can zip it left and right. But I just feel as though he didn't have that today. I feel as though he was just second guessing. You know, do you know what I mean? Like he was second guessing what he was going. He was playing like one of us would be playing. We'd get the ball in our feet and like, oh, what do I do now? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and we would just go,
I totally get it.
And that's what I felt like that was coming from him. Obviously, then the balls got pushed out to the right, wasn't it? And it got whipped in.
Yeah.
You know, them type of goals happen all the time, every week. Yeah, but Tino, I think if Tino had someone like Shah played next to him, or you know, like a maybe a Gay, they would have controlled Tino better, because he would have watch Tavernier. Do you know what I mean? He would have keep an eye on him, and then they would have controlled that Everlison and whoever else was coming in, because that's what a good centre back does. He controls that back line, and Kraft, you know, he hasn't got that, has he? You know, and yeah, Tino should have been watching it, but this is a season where he nails down that right spot for himself. So he does need to start thinking a little bit better, you know, and thinking he's going to come hurtling in, because he's you know, they've done the homework on the team players to know what those players are capable of. But it would have been, I think if Tino had Shah there, Shah probably would have controlled it a little bit better, told him to keep an eye on him and not get caught in that little space that let Tavernier just get through.
Yeah, it was very poor from Hall because he didn't track him back properly, and it could have been. Sorry, it was Tino, wasn't it? Sorry, didn't track him back, and then he got a simple tap in. But the strange thing is, though, we go in at 1-0 down. I was like, we've been shocking, but we actually had more passes in the game in the first half, so they were very direct. We had more possession of the ball. But the big difference was they had 5 shots and 1 on target, and we had 3 and none. Well, we had 1 on target, but it was a very simple save. There were big chances for what they created.
Stats can be deceiving, can't they? You know,
they can. And then this is why I'm pointing them out, though, because the silver lining is we actually had the ball a lot.
Yeah, and we did, but we did nothing. We did nothing with it. Do you know what I mean? Like there was no. I'd get it if like
England, didn't it?
Yeah. I'd get it if we were hitting the crossbar, and Nate always having the first half of his life. Do you know what I mean? Saving shots left, right, and centre. I'd get that, but the old classic Mark 1 eyeball. That's the one that's, you know, this is what we're watching. You know, the stats are there. I get it, but what I see now, I see no drive. I said no. There was no intensity. There was no. It felt a little bit like going through the motions. You know, they started off well, then Bournemouth put on the press on them, put it to them, because you know we're in their backyard. Newcastle like quivered a little bit. Oh, no, I don't want to be a part of this, and then they went 1-0 down. And I thought the second half we were going to come out like at 100 miles per hour, but anyway.
But again, we did come out in the second half and we did play a lot better. So I'm going to go through the stats first before we talk about what changed the game, because I think the stats are very interesting in the second half. Our expected goal was 1.47. Theirs was 1.31. We had 3 big chances. We scored 1. We had 11 shots compared to 3 in the first half, which is much better. Their keeper pulled off 3 very good saves. We had 244 passes to their 109. We had 9 fouls against us and they had 8 against. So it kind of evened itself out in the second half a little bit. But we had 10 free kicks to their 5. So again, they were still trying to slow it down and trying to be dirty. But let's face it, we were very lucky in some instances. But the big changing point in the game was the substitutions, because it was, like I said, they didn't come out at 100 mile an hour, but he made changes very early. Now, everyone criticised Eddie Howe for not making these changes early. Even some people say he didn't make them early enough in this game, but I think he did. I think he played the subs very, very well today. He brung Trippier on and Harvey Barnes on after 58 minutes. So he gave them the first 13 minutes to try and change and show that we're going to be capable of getting back into the game, and then went, right, no, we need to change it quicker. I mean, Trippier only got a 6.8, which is a load of bollocks because he played much better than that. But Harvey Barnes got a 7.5, and after only playing for 35 minutes of the game, or less than that, 30 minutes, that is actually a very, very good performance.
Yeah.
And it did change the game for us, because, I mean, Joe Willock did as well, but Joe Willock only got a 6.6, but I thought his forward runs were brilliant. Lewis come on in 69th minute. Joe Willock came on in the 70th, and then Miggy came in the last minute, which was just a token substitution, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But we created a lot more when Harvey Barnes was on the left-hand side and Gordon was on the right-hand side. So we discussed this a lot last night. We've discussed it a lot in our group. We've discussed it openly on Twitter as well. We've all said that Gordon can't play on the right wing, but he actually proved he can, and that's where he gets his goal.
Yeah.
But there was another chance, wasn't there? Because Harvey Barnes got played through on the left-hand side, and then he had that shot that just went wide. But if he played it to the back post, Isak would have had a tap in. So that's the frustration thing with Barnes. Barnes is a very goal-hungry midfielder. Once he's got that ball in that position, his mind is shoot. Not about anything else that's going on. You saw his body language when he got that ball at his foot. His head was down. He knew where he was going. He never even looked at the back post, and that's the situation that was going. And that's where elite players like a Kevin De Bruyne and all them sort of stuff are forwarding. They know what to do in those situations, that they play the better pass, don't they? But fair play to him, because you played a lovely ball to the back post for Gordon to tap one in into an open net, and that was a great ball to the back post, wasn't it?
Oh yeah.
The subs changed the game, but this is how I would describe it. It's like you've got your 42-inch telly that you've had for 10 years, and then suddenly you go out and buy a 65-inch new one. It's going to perform better, and that's what happened today. He took the crap off and he brought the good ones up. And Barnes made a huge difference. Suddenly Gordon woke up when he went on the right. Still, Gordon clearly isn't at his best at the minute. I think that's obvious, but he was much better when he went on the right.
Do you think Gordon woke up because Trippier was on the right with him?
Possibly, yeah. Because Trippier, 6.8 for Trippier is a bit of a joke, because Trippier added that leadership they needed on the pitch because it just wasn't there. I thought the first 10 minutes of the second half were crap. And then it was when he made the subs, and fair dues to Eddie, right? I thought Eddie got his starting lineup completely wrong today, but his subs were brilliant, right? Because they changed the game. And it was, I think you're right. I think Joe Willock added intensity and pace to the midfield where he was running at defenders. Yeah, Longstaff doesn't do that. He just gets the ball and plays it back, and then before you know it, you're just back to square one. Willock doesn't do that. He drives, and this is what you need. And Barnes added much more threat down the left-hand side. And I don't think it was because Gordon got moved. I think it was because Jacob Murphy was literally doing nothing. And there was threats from the wings, and they were clearly struggling with it more. And Lewis Hall made a massive difference and all when he came on. And it was, he just, you know what it is? I remember I said to Kyle, because me and Kyle were watching it, and this was before the subs came on. And I went, Kyle, I've just realised Newcastle had just, apart from Gordon, and he said they've got no pace in this team. And it was just nothing, absolutely
very
no
evident,
pace
wasn't it? Even when Bruno
Yeah.
was trying to run through the lines, they were catching up with him very quickly.
Yeah,
even with
because
John
he's not
as
the
well.
quickest. He's not the quickest. But what Eddie did was he brought Harvey Barnes on, he brought Lewis Hall on, he brought Joe Willock on. Pace does that. And it just added more to the team. And it wasn't they weren't perfect when that happened, but it was a massive improvement because they were starting to create chances. I thought some of the chances they got, I thought Joe Linton should have done better. I'd hit his shoulder.
Yeah, the
And
header.
Burns should have done better at his bloody shoulder and all.
His header was a bit harder, I think, because he was trying to guide it, wasn't he?
But it was
and it took a deflection off the defender when the cross came in. You saw it deflect, so it took a lot of the pace off it. I think that was the problem with that one.
But Barnes did enough today to like get Eddie thinking about not Wednesday. I mean Tottenham, because it was just like, look, I know, Baz, you're not a huge fan of Jacob Murphy. I know you never have been. I'm a bit more defending of him. But today, he looked like a championship footballer, and Harvey Barnes is miles ahead of him. Absolutely.
I've always said he's a 1 in 5 performance player. Murphy.
He's a squad player.
You'll see him that screamer. You'll see him do something good, but then he doesn't repeat it the next game. Yes, I love his shithousery. He's smiling. I like his dedication. Apparently, he's an intelligent player on the training pitch. But all this, he can cross the ball better. Then one time he got across the ball, he crossed it straight out of play.
Yeah, it went miles away.
It's a myth. It's the biggest myth ever that Murphy's great across the ball.
You know what it is? He's a good squad player to have. He'll come in and he'll do a good job for you. But he can't start. He's not a starter. And you know what it is? You've been banging on for weeks about maybe I think right wing's more important than defence. I think right wing. Today, right? We weren't great at the back. But I was thinking in the back of my head, right wing is non-existent. And I'm thinking, as Baz right, do we need to go out and spend the money on a bloody right winger more than a defender? That's what I was thinking.
Today.
Oh, well, they should have bought him 2 weeks ago, like me and he said. Honestly,
no.
Do you know when anybody wanted
people
him?
said, Muduik, no one, he's crap, he's rubbish, doesn't like, he's got an attitude problem, and then he goes and scores a hat-trick today. I was just giving it to myself when I saw it kept on popping up on the screen. I was like, it's fucking him again.
Yeah, what is? Bobby Robson had loads of bloody arseholes, and he dealt with them.
Bellamy, Dyer,
Janice, but he made them perform on the pitch.
Well, we need a right winger that can also play across that front three, that can give the team a little bit of a kick up the arse. So, like, let's say Newcastle spend that 60 million on a right winger, someone who's at Isak level, where the left and the right, you know, you've got Barnes and you've got Gordon, because Gordon can play on the right. But if, let's say we bring in that right winger, then now the competition's there, because them two now need to start upping the game. And obviously the right winger needs to up his game because they spent 60 million XYZ. Obviously Murphy is a squad player. Murphy's somebody who I'd play on Thursday night when we played Nottingham Forest in the Cup. He's that type of player. Wednesday. But we need that right winger to come in that elevates the squad a little bit, because the squad think, like, Jesus Christ, they've just bought him. Do you know what I mean? Whoever it is. But he'll put the heaters up that front, not Isak, but the other wingers to go, well, if you don't perform, I'm playing. you know.
We
that's
need to
what-
buy
that's-
you're right,
someone.
John.
If we're paying 60 million, he has to start.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
obviously, but there needs to be, because I've had a feeling, and I've had a feeling for a little while that we've got the whole PSR business, etc., etc. I get that, but I have a feeling that in some players, not all of them, there's a little bit of, well, I'm already a starter coming in. Do you know what I mean? Like, and this is why there's no drive, because no matter what they play next week anyway, and like that midfield three with obviously like
Yeah, but
Longstaff.
the thing is, you can't really say that about Murphy keeping his place because Miggy's right there behind. I know Miggy's not that 60 million player of quality, but Murphy's played that bad today. There is no way he's starting that next game because it's either going to be Gordon on the right or it's going to be Miggy starting on the right.
But he didn't bring Miggy on though, did he? He could have easily. Yeah, at the last
when he
3
moved
minutes.
He moved Gordon to the right wing. So what happens if Gordon plays next time on the right wing? You've got Murphy and Miggy sitting on the bench saying, well, if Gordon doesn't perform, I'm then going to be coming on. So there is competition. Yes, the competition isn't a 60, 70 million right winger, but the competition is there. Because if players play bad, Eddie Howe will drop them.
I get that, but you need that. You need that quality, don't you? And that's what I think. That's probably where
the quality, but the competition
I'm trying to
is
get
there,
at.
but the quality is different. If we can spend 60 million on a right winger and we can find someone who can hit the heights of Gordon on the right wing as well as Gordon on the left wing, and you've got Isak up front. I said this so many times before the season started. That is 60 to 70 goals contributions between the three of them up front, goals and assists. If you can match someone who can do what Gordon does, and Isak will get you your 25. The other two are going to get you roughly 15 to 20. Gordon got 21 last season, goals and assists. You get that on the right wing, you've got 65 to 70 goals just from your front three. And then you have Joe Linton chipping in, Bruno chipping in, Tonali chipping in, your defence chipping in. You're scoring 100 goals in a season. And then that gets you into Europe.
And this is why I'm looking forward to my favourite player, Sandro, coming back, because I think he'll elevate our midfield because they'll now, up their game because he's back. Then they'll know how good he is in trading, and they'll know that he's going to eventually command a starting place week in, week out. And people like Joe Linton's going to up his game. Longstaff will have to up his game. Obviously, Bruno's starter, anyway. But
Joe Linton's the starter anyway. We all know it's going to be the three of them, and we all know Sean Longstaff's the one who's going to miss out because Sean Longstaff will become that squad player. But we still need those squad players because those three just can't play every game and then be full tilt every game. It just doesn't happen, does it?
No, but
back to the game. It was ding dong in the last 15 minutes. We almost threw it away. We almost won it. They hit that Semenyo was fantastic. He was their man of the match quite easily. He was very dangerous. But there's obviously the contentious decision. Was it a handball? Now, the more I keep looking at it, the freeze frame's not brilliant. But every time I watch the replay and they slow it down, the more and more I think it's hit him there. So it's hit him on the sleeve as well as the arm as well. It's made no contact with his shoulder or his head. I think it's a handball. I called handball straight away when I saw it. And there's also a foul in there as well somewhere. He's jumping right over the top of the player. There was also another foul somewhere as well. But for me, that's a handball, Gary.
You know what it is, Baz, right? I thought the same, right? And then Shearer went, it's definitely not a handball.
Yeah, I was going to come to that.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. And then somebody, Dave was saying on Twitter, was saying it's a handball, and then Bob was saying it's not a handball. And then I thought to myself, right, so what's the rule? Right? We don't know. If the rule is what I've been told, then it's not a handball. If that's what I've heard from the rule, because of where
I've heard the sleeve downwards. But he's used his arm to force the ball into the net, hasn't he?
Personally, if you use your arm, I always thought that was a handball, right? Shoulder was different. If you used your shoulder, fair enough. But shoulder down was always a handball. But you know what the rules are like? They change every 5 minutes. So if somebody knows what the rule is, if it's above your elbow, right, where you're allowed to put the ball in, then yeah, it's a goal. It's not. It should have been allowed. But
the thing is, though, if it was in the middle of the park, it would be probably not given.
Yeah.
But because it's happened in the penalty and it's caused a goal direct from hitting his arm and the way he's done it, that's why I think they've given it.
Yeah. Well, what the people don't mention either, I haven't seen much of it, is what paid me off more was the guy jumped in the middle above Joe Linton and Dan Burn. How the friggin' hell did he beat them two? Our two tallest players in the box, and he beat them both. And I don't know what Dan Burn was doing for it. He tried to put him off, right? But I get why Bournemouth were a bit knocked. I don't know why Bournemouth were so annoyed at the referee, because the referee was just going off what Vos said. There's nothing he could have done. He gave the goal. So it was VAR who overruled him, and he's the one getting stick.
Well, the referee didn't see it.
No, he didn't. He gave the goal. But the players were all having a go at the referee, and he's going, well, what do you want me to do about VAR? Said it's...
it's VAR, did it? Yeah.
Do you know what it is? It's like, oh, God.
I think the referee would have given the goal. But yes, we will have Keith Hackett on our channel 6 p.m. on Wednesday. Fingers crossed all goes well. He'll tell us what the handball rule is. This is you're talking about Alan Shearer. A lucky point, as that's an awful decision. Reply the handball. Never a handball for me. Then Luke Edwards is going, other than the fact it clearly hit his arm, you make a decent point, Alan. And then he's put, that clear, the ref didn't give it. And then Luke's put, well, isn't that what VAR is all about? If the referee doesn't see it and it's a clear and obvious mistake, it goes to VAR and then they make the decision. So they, if you've got Luke Edwards, who's a well-renowned, doesn't really like Newcastle, saying it isn't a handball, and you've got the greatest striker we've ever had saying it is a handball. What are you supposed to do?
Do you know what? Do you know why? Because Shearer's a striker, right? And he would have been paid off if that had been chalked off. But what's the rule? Like you've got Luke saying it isn't. It's a right decision. And you've got Shearer saying that it should have been given. So we don't know the rule, do we? And we're discussing, and Sky are discussing whether it should have been a goal or not, because nobody knows.
Jimmy read that straight away. Honestly, I can't stand that guy. Just said straight away, there's not enough to overrule that. You tell me that's blatant. It's like, let's find out what the rule is.
I thought it was a handball. It's his arm, hasn't it? And it's went in, and VAR have overturned the referee's decision. They've decided it is a handball, so they've gone off VAR. So there's two points that I get from that. One, VAR is in our favour, and the Premier League probably want us to finish in top 4, so decision is going to go our way.
Yeah,
and
right.
Second of all, I have zero sympathy for anyone else's decisions now regarding handballs in the box, considering last season when it happened to us and we needed to win, and not one person was like defending our point. Do you know what I mean? Like, so it was a handball. The goal got chalked off. Who cares? It's ended 1-1.
See, for that, Michael, right? If the ball deflects off an arm and someone else sticks it in the goal, it would count. So what's the difference? Well, the difference is it didn't deflect off his arm and someone else scored. It deflected off his arm and went straight into the goal. There's the massive difference. So that's the reason why it was given as handball.
It'd be interesting to see what Bournemouth fans think of it.
It would have been all right. Oh, Bournemouth fans will be devastated. I know they will be.
Yeah, but no, you'll get the Bournemouth fans who like use their brain and like have an opinion on it and stuff like that. But to be honest, Hackett will be able to tell you. Keith Hackett will be able to tell you.
I want to know what the 6.1.4.1 rule of handball. I want to know the exact rule. Of what fraction of the arm, and when it is there a difference in rule when you're inside the box to outside the box to a ball hitting your arm and then someone else scoring, or hitting your arm and going directly in. We need to know all these sub rules to understand why that was given, because VAR, the referees know the rule book, and deemed it as a handball. So if it's a handball, it's a handball. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
Here's the silver lining from the game. I mean, like I say, it was a ding-dong affair near the last 25 minutes when we came alive. They also were very dangerous on the break. I thought we were going to throw it away. But we had 492 passes to their 318. You know, our passing accuracy was better. Our possession was far better, but it's what you do with the ball that counts. And obviously, Bournemouth did enough. I think a point apiece is actually a fair result when you go off the chances that were created by both teams. You know, we could have scored 2 or 3 today had we been more clinical. Bournemouth could have scored 2 or 3 and been out of sight in the first half had they been more clinical. So I think on the basis of the stats and what we saw in the final 25 minutes and the chances we created, Bruno's effort that was flying in the top corner, the keeper saved. You know, on a different day that might go in. So I think a draw was a fair result, but Bournemouth probably slightly edged it. So they'll probably feel a little bit aggrieved, wouldn't they? The final word is obviously Bruno's man of the match. We all know that, don't we? He was
my man of the match. He was my man of the match. Funnily enough, the rest of the man of the matches were the subs.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, I had Harvey Barnes up there and I have Trippier up there. But I thought Bruno, like, do you know what it is? John's right. I can't wait to see Tonali back in this midfield because when Longstaff went off, Bruno started going forward more. And I felt like he thought, I don't have to look after him anymore. So I've got Willock now. And Bruno started causing more problems going forward, and hence why we were getting more into the game. And Tonali's going to allow Bruno to do this more because you're talking about a very, very intelligent footballer here. And sorry, go on.
Go on. I was going to say, like, to combat that midfield three, you know, if Eddie's watching, you know, maybe start thinking about putting Mould and Joel Linton into a bit of a CDM type player, and then you can have Bruno and Tonali just playing those 8s, and one can push forward, etc., and cause some havoc. He needs
to quicken up to do that because that goal he let in today, what's he called, Semedo? Yeah. Semedo dominated Joel Linton today, and he took the ball off him for the goal. Joel Linton sort of shrugged his shoulders. Semedo went past him, put it in for the goal. If Joel Linton wants to be Joel Linton is one of the first names on that team sheet. I'm not saying that. But every now and then he has one of those games where he's just terrible. And it's he's got a twin brother who's playing for. Yeah.
He's Bruce Joe.
Twin brother turned up. Yeah, Bruce Joe. And today was one of those. Joe Linton, that's the worst game I've seen Joe Linton have for a long time. And he'll take it out on Tottenham at the weekend. He'll take it out on Spurs at the weekend. But it's like, he needs to quicken his game up if he wants to play that CDM role, because he was far too slow on the ball at times.
I don't think he is a CDM.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you. I don't think he's a fully blown. I don't think we've got one. I don't think we've got that.
We haven't.
Conte in the middle of the park. We haven't got one. And Eddie doesn't think we need one, or he would have bought one by now. So whatever plan he's got,
we'll play with 3 simple as that.
Probably. Maybe he trusts his defence. I don't know. But
I think he trusts Bruno to do it, doesn't he? That's the thing. But then stops Bruno from getting forward all the time. I think one more topic before we go.
Come on.
I'm going to have to move on because we're running out of time. Hit the subscribe button if you're enjoying the show. Hit the thumbs up button. Don't forget there's a link to become a member if you want to. Our amazing sponsors, Diet Crow, 20% off for everybody who watches the shows. Link is in the description. Please consider buying some stuff from them. Football prizes, they've got an amazing golden framed shirt, but you can also win 16 other prizes. 15 on this one. There's a Willock, there's an Almiron, there's an Eddie Howe signed shirt you can win. Link is in the description. Tomorrow is the closing date for tickets, so please get them in and basically help a great company out and hopefully win an amazing prize. And don't forget, we've got this coming up. It's going to be an amazing night, the 16th of January at Benfield Football Club, and also a very special guest. So keep an eye out for tickets for that. So my last talking point of the night, we've got 5-10 minutes to talk about it, is this man, I mean, he did change the game when he came on. He showed you, like Gary said, and John has said, leadership, quality on the ball. His free kicks, his corners were fantastic. The only thing I got really peeved off very quickly was when we had a free kick that Bruno won right in the far corner on the other side. I thought Hall should have took that as a left foot in swinger, but that's a different story. But I thought Trippier was fantastic. Now, Gary, me and you have had loads of debates about keeping Trippier, selling them, keeping them, selling them. I was 50-50. I now think it would be stupid to sell him after that performance today.
When Trippier came on the pitch and he took over Tino, I felt more assured of that defence. Do you know what I mean? Like, I knew he's going to be there controlling things, and you're seeing the difference in play. And I fully agree with you, Baz. We get rid of Trippier, we're making a massive mistake. I would rather keep him for the next 2 years and lose him on a free than sell him, because he's quality to come on. Yeah, he had a bad couple of months at the end of last season, but he's just played like nearly a year and a half of elite level football week in, week out. He's going to have a drop off at some point. We sell him, we're making a mistake. And it's nice to have someone like Trippier coming off the bench to take over a Hall or to take over a Tino, just for the closing half hour.
That's a good point. I think Trippier goes if he wants. We don't have much say in the matter. We do because it's the right price. But Gary, like I said, we've had many debates, the business side of it, the playing side of it. But after seeing him today and seeing how hungry he looked when he came on, I honestly think it would be silly if we sell him now. I really do.
Yeah, I said 5 days ago that maybe it's time for Trippier to go, right?
No.
And I was basing this on PSR, no other reason. And now I wouldn't sell him. I think it would be a waste of time. You're talking about a guy who can not only come on, but can start. I mean, he could start against Tottenham. I wouldn't be surprised if he does, mind. I don't. But then I was thinking, is it going to make much difference selling Trippier for PSR? It's probably going to make bugger all difference, because we're not going to get much of a fee.
It will make a difference, because they won 15 million for him. Nothing less. Yeah. If they don't get 15 million, they're not selling them, basically. So 15 million it does do a little bit dint into it, but not a lot.
Yeah.
But as a 33-year-old, you're not going to get a lot of money for him. But he's got 2 years left, because I didn't realise he had an extra year. So, I mean, for the next 2 years, Trippier could be pivotal, and not only on the pitch, on the bench, but for the under-21s, for whatever coaching he wants to do. He's forget about his off-field antics. That's his personal life. It's not great, but just today showing. Tino's still got a lot to learn after seeing what Trips did when he came on.
I mean, I think Dino had a decent game first half. I didn't think he was the worst player on the pitch. But
no, he wasn't. But
there's still something he's missing. But you know what is? He's young and he'll learn. And I'd keep Trippier. I honestly would. I wouldn't get rid. There's 3 or 4 players I would ship out this club before Trippier. But I think the comment was right. If Trippier wants to go, it's one of those, isn't it?
But you can't. Way or because of what he's done for the football club. He came to us when we were in a relegation zone. Didn't want a relegation clause. He fought for the cause, and he kept us up, and it was absolutely unbelievable. I think it's one of those ones we won't stand in his way if he actually wants to go.
No, but I would keep him 100%.
With Trippier, I'd keep him. And the best thing about it, obviously, we don't know what's going on behind closed doors, but it sounds like he's not even pushing for the move. I think he's probably said, look, if a team comes in for me, i.e. like abroad, then I'm open to it. And if that team comes in the next couple of days and we get the money we want, he says, right, I'm off, then, he's one of those players that he's going to have my full blessings, like, go on, crack on. But if I was anyone in that club, like if I was like Yasser, I'd be like, oh come on, let's have another year. let's get another year out of you. And he probably deep down he probably doesn't want to leave, but because of his whatever's going on behind closed doors, he might have to, but I don't want him to leave because he's just so good, isn't he? And you might lose the pace, but you don't lose the class. And if he can teach Tino and Hall how to be that elite level wing back or left back, right back, then they're only going to get better with him around.
Might not do any business for them in the closes. They might want those or none at all. I agree with that, James. If the right player isn't there and we can't get the right player over the line, we won't do business. And I've said this for a long time, and we'll probably attack it in January potentially. If we don't do business this summer, we'll be in a better place in January to do business. So it's going to happen at some point. But we really do want to get at least 2 players over the line before the window shuts, however it happens. What did you make, Gary, of Trips being pushed over to the away fans? Do you think that was just to get recognition of all the hard work he's done recently, and because of everything that was in the press, it was giving him a bit of a boost from the fans? Or do you think it was his goodbyes potentially?
It could be both, but I'm swinging more to the players clearly trying to give him a bit of a boost, because the crowd were chanting his name when he was taking a corner, and they were chanting his name at the end. And I think they thought he's been, look, you know what it is? Kieran Trippier is only human, right? And I don't know what's gone on in his personal life. Don't know. We've all made mistakes, everybody. And whatever's happened, you could clearly tell him getting cheered at the end got one. Right? Now, maybe he needed that. Maybe he needed it. Maybe he needed it. Maybe he's looked and when people want us to go, Tino's the new thing. But maybe that just give him a little boost. I personally think Kieran Trippier will start against Tottenham. That's my personal opinion. I think he will be here by the end of the week. And that's all I think that is. I think he got emotional because the crowd were chanting his name. And I think whatever's happened in his life's just got to the best of him at that time, and he's just thought it's just all come out. And that's what I think will happen. I don't think Trippier will be away.
I agree with you as well, Gary. I think he's like whatever's happened in his personal life, it probably affected him. So he's probably been feeling down for months, and then he's not had the greatest of performances, and then he's got like all the social media fan base going hell for leather, 100 miles per hour at him. He's probably thinking like, I can't hear them singing my name anymore. They're only, you know what I mean? Like, and the love Bruno. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's probably thought, I'm a forgotten man now.
Yeah.
And then they've probably pushed him saying they love you, And then he's got it. The crowd have been singing his name, and he's probably, had a bit of realization, like, I'm still like the guy type of thing. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, where I'm coming from? Like, he was number one. He was the first one through the door, and we'll rattle on about that until even when he's retired and he's coaching that, we'll still talk about Trippier being that first one. He was always the.
Trippier will be a football manager one day. I truly believe he will be a manager.
They said that in that interview, didn't they? The two of them, Mad Dog and Eddie Howe, they did that relationship, whatever, the thing, and they both put Trips up as a future manager.
I've got this feeling that in the back of my head that basically, I don't believe Eddie Howe went up to Trippier and went, I'm stripping you the captain's on, but I think that's bollocks. Of course right? Eddie Howe doesn't do that, right? I truly believe that Eddie Howe him and Trippier have spoke, and I think it's a mutual agreement. I think Trippier has agreed to give the captain's armband to Bruno as well.
Right, I'm just gonna jump in there, Gary, regarding this captain's armband thing, because I've seen it a lot on Twitter. Everyone's saying, "Oh, he's been stripped." He's not been stripped. He was vice captain. He still is vice captain. Do you know
it's
what
the
I mean?
media blowing it out of proportion. Yeah. Even Sky says he was stripped of it, and I was doing my head in when I hear that.
You Trippier, right? So Lascelles is captain, then it's Bruno's club captain or whatever it is, and then Trippier's vice captain. How do we know Trippier's not said when they've said who do we want as this club captain or whatever this new thing is now? and they've all said Bruno. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
I think Trippier's agreed to it. I think
Yeah,
because if this is this time last season, Trippier's captain in this game today. So clearly something's went on, but I think Trippier's agreed to it. I don't think they've stripped him of anything. I think they've just all come to agreement. But the media,
he was vice captain last season. He's vice captain this season. It's this whole social.
Changed.
Yeah, exactly. Nothing's changed. He's still part of the leadership.
The only thing that's changed is Lascelles has been stripped of captain and he's been made club captain. That's what's been stripped. Lascelles has been stripped as captain. Bruno's got the captaincy. Lascelles is now club captain, a bit like Kevin Kilvine was when Keegan first took over when he was injured. He was, squad captain, club captain, whatever you want to call it. So nothing's really changed other than that. Trippier's kept his same position. Yeah. The only thing difference is that Bruno will be on the pitch a lot more, which means Trippier won't be captain.
And I 100% guarantee Trippier said along the lines when they were like, Trippier could have easily turned around and said, make Bruno captain. Like, I've got like a 2 years of high quality football left in us. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, Bruno's going to be for the long haul. Bruno could be here to the end of his contract.
It's not that.
Well.
It's not that at all. If Trippier's not getting picked, which he wasn't today, he has to pick a captain for his team, doesn't he? The reason why Bruno's got the captaincy is because last season he hardly missed a game. And that is the reason why, because you want your captain to be on the pitch 95% of the time. And that's what Bruno gives you. He gives you that stability. And he also is a player that everyone looks up to. And he's been captain before of other teams. And that's the reason why he's got the captaincy, is because Trippier's not going to play a full season because of niggly injuries and his age. And he's got Tino up his backside as well. So he needs to concentrate on doing that. And that's why Bruno's captain. It really is that simple. I mean, he could have given it to Pope. Pope's is a good captain as well. Could give it to Sven Botman when he comes back. If he plays every single game, Sven Botman would be a great captain, I think, in the future. But that's the reason why he's got it. It's just because he is. I think he was one of very few players that played the most games last season.
And I'll tell you something. If we win a cup this year, I can guarantee you now, Bruno will be bringing trips up to the podium first. Do you know what I mean? Like they've done in, like they've done in for the Cellar Cup. Like they'll do that with trips.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. The way we played in these first two games, we won't be getting to a cup final.
I've been going on about a trophy for 30 odd years. We're still not bloody fucking win one this year. We'll cock it up as to what I was thinking.
I'm gonna end it on a silver lining though, guys. We're undefeated.
Yep.
We've won one home game, we've drawn one away game, which last season we got beat at, which means we've actually got one more point than what we would have had against. Actually, we've got 4 more points than what we would have got against these fixtures. Southampton are a newly promoted team. Look at the teams that went down. We got beat off Luton away from home as well. We didn't beat Luton or Bournemouth at home last season. So already we're 4 points better off than what we were last season. So let's just spin it on a positive and leave it on that. 4 points better off. We're undefeated, and we've got Spurs, who we just love to smash us in James's Park at the weekend. So everything's looking up.
And we got Mark Gahey and Rafinha and Vlahovic all rocking up this week as well.
Exactly. Wednesday night's going to be fun.
If you want to go out in a positive, a point at Bournemouth is a good result, right?
It is.
And I think there's only a few little tweaks needed in that team where we don't play as bad as we did in the first half today. And it's only a couple. I think Tonali is going to make a huge difference. And I think, just like I said, simple right winger, pop him in there, whatever you do. And I think the team changes. That's all it is. It's not a massive... We're not going to be champions. I don't know if we'll finish 4th, but we'll be good enough to challenge if we just make a few little tweaks.
Top 5. We are going to finish.
I went 6th at the start of the season, but...
Well, there we go. Right. Thanks for joining us, guys. Really appreciate it. I hope you've all joined it in the chat. We'll leave it at that. I'll do a little video tomorrow for Wednesday night. But Wednesday night's going to be a really busy one because hopefully, he hasn't fully confirmed it, but Keith Hackett on Wednesday at 6 p.m. And then I'll be doing the live watch along straight afterwards as well, as long as I can get a link for the game. Is it on Sky or not?
Yeah.
It will be.
Right,
Of
there we
course
go.
it is.
So,
Of course it's been
there we are,
chosen.
so- of course it has. So yes, I will be doing a live watch along on Wednesday night as well. So it's going to be a busy Wednesday after night shifts.
And
But thanks for
Tonali's
tuning
back.
in, everyone. And Tonali's back. Tonali's back. He will be playing. Look out for the video tomorrow, and I'll see you all again very soon.
Thank you. Cheers. See you later.